One of the most common questions we get here at BEMA, and it seems like it's coming in with increased regularity, is a lot of people want to see us put in our episode descriptions or somewhere with each episode, like this is the passage of scripture that we're dealing with, so that it's easy to find and to search. And I know that you dealt with Matthew chapter 13, verse 11 through 23 or whatever in each episode. And we just wanted to give word to that because it's such a common question that we get here at BEMA. We've talked about it many times, and we are not doing that. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. It's a decision that we made a long time ago. We're not like on the fence about it. It's a decision that we've made. We like the decision that we've made. And we'll tell you a little bit about why. Part of what you will learn in BEMA, and if you haven't gotten to session 3 yet, then you haven't necessarily encountered the rabbinical world, the world of Jesus, the world of these Jewish rabbis and how they teach their disciples. And you've gotten to some of it, like in session 1 when we're talking about chiasms, when we talk about the difference between Eastern versus Western thought. One of the things that we talk about is how the Eastern thinker believes that if you discover something, you learn it so much more intimately and it has such a greater impact on you. And that's why they bury things in chiasms. That's why they have layers to the ways that they teach and the way that they write things in Scripture. And we believe there's something to that. So on probably the most immediate level, the reason why we're not going to put those kind of details in our description is because we want to make us work a little bit. Like one of the things you'll hear Jesus say throughout his ministry is, he who has ears, let him hear. And part of what he's saying as a Jewish rabbi to his context is, there's something here that you can get on the surface, but I'm also letting you know there's more here. If you're willing to do the work, and if you're willing to do the thinking and the wrestling, and if you're willing to do the digging, there's more to be found. And we as Westerners are very used to having the answers just thrust upon us. Just tell me, make it easy. We engage stuff as consumers, so we want to be able to search the catalog. And I can appreciate the impulse that people have. We want to treat the BEMA corpus, the BEMA body of work, as a catalog that we can search. Like a commentary, like you want BEMA to be a commentary. And we want you to know that BEMA is not a commentary for a few different reasons. Number one, it is a commentary. But number one, we're not the authority that you need to be using in that way. We want to connect you to the people who are authorities. We want to connect you to those scholars and those commentators who you should be. And their resources almost always are cataloged the way that you're looking for. But the BEMA journey is something that we're on together. I'm not the authority. Brent's not the authority. Reed, L, Josh, we're not the scholars. We're the people that love to read the scholars and share that journey and share that roadmap with all of you. But we're with you. We're not with the scholars. Like, all of us on the BEMA team are with you on the journey. And we want to be on that journey together. And we believe that part of what we're doing, and you could call this just quirky, that's fine. Maybe it's one of our weird, quirky decisions that we've made that actually doesn't make any sense, and you don't have to agree with it, but it is the decision that we're going to make. We're not going to put our passage details in the descriptions to our episodes. Because we want to get more familiar with the Bible. We believe that if you end up listening to this episode or this episode and you're trying to find where we talked about this or this or this, then you're just going to interact with more of the Bible and you're going to become more familiar and more intimate with the things that you're going to learn. So a few things that you need to know. First of all, we have a search function on our website that most people don't even know about. But if you go to bemadiscipleship.com/search, or if you're on your website and you just look up at those tabs, one of those tabs says search. Use that search bar and look for the key words. If there's something you're trying to find or something in a particular passage, use the key words. It's not always going to work, but chances are better that you may actually be able to find it through the search function. Second of all, just be willing to do some of the basic work. So the BEMA, like sessions 1 through 5, walk through the scripture from Genesis through Revelation. They're categorized in sections of scripture: Torah, prophets and writings, Gospels, early church, New Testament, and church history. So you should know which session you need to be in. And most of those episodes are usually titled the way you need them to be titled. Hosea is about Hosea. Amos is about Amos. Deuteronomy has its own... so it gets a little bit tricky when you get into those longer series, like the book of Genesis, or when you get into session 3. But here's the deal. I find that so often we receive these questions about, man, can you just put your passages in the description of the video? We will get those about our verse-by-verse journeys. Like we go through Matthew verse by verse. Every verse of Matthew we do. We do John in session 6, verse by verse. And those are where we get the bulk. Most of these questions and these requests come through, guys, it's verse by verse. That's easy to find. Do that little bit of work because it's going to increase your familiarity with the Gospel of Matthew. It's going to increase your familiarity with the Gospel of John. By trying to figure out where does this, even if you're just having to think, this episode's about the woman at the well. That's John 4. I'm looking for the adulterous woman. That's John 8. That's 4 chapters later. Just that kind of engagement helps us grow in our familiarity with the Bible. And that's good and it's healthy. It's a good exercise. And I think we miss that when we're like, okay, I'm just looking for John 8, and we don't have to think about the Gospel of John, and we don't have to do any work, and we just go find the episode that's labeled John 8, and we just, man, there's more for us. To us who have ears. To us who have ears, let us hear. And we don't want to be mean about it. I'm not trying to be condescending. It's an invitation, and probably an irritating one. That's okay. It was irritating in Jesus' day too. Lots of people in the crowd heard what Jesus said, saw the invitation, probably rolled their eyes, and went, I'm too busy. And what we're trying to do is train ourselves to not respond that way. We want to lean in. We want to create more time. We want to do more work. And so those are the reasons why we're not going to put passage details in our episode descriptions. And it's not because we want you to get familiar with our episodes. It's because we want to get more familiar with the Bible and how it works and operates. I want to know that this part comes after this part, and this part goes after that part. And I want to remember, even if I'm forced to, and I'm really frustrated because they forced me to listen to the previous episode. Well, now I just had a review of what it is that comes right before the part that I am looking for. Like those are the things that change the way that we view and understand the Bible. So, and if it's any consolation, the people in Jesus' day, they didn't have verse or chapter numbers at all. So they were stuck in the same boat that you are. Maybe there's something to that. So that's where we're going to go, and that's where we're going to lean. So we appreciate the question. We appreciate you listening, engaging, wanting to find stuff, looking, and we're just inviting you not to do it differently, but to come with us and come deeper into that journey and that process and learn to love the Bible and get more and more familiar with the Bible, even if it takes us a little bit more time. Come with us because we're on the journey with you. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.